Hey, greetings. Michael Didier here. Thank you so much for joining me. We're continuing our journey in Torah. I'm going to do, I think it's a little shorter section today, but there's always things that we can talk about and hiatuses that we can take. We're going to talk about Jacob's sons and the women that they took and the sons that the sons had. I think it's pretty interesting. In Genesis 37, this is when the boys sold their brother into slavery and then came home and told their papa that he was eaten, or they made it appear that it was eaten. They didn't say it because they said they didn't really know what happened, but they knew that if he saw the clothes, well, here it is, verse 34, and Jacob tore his clothes and put sackcloth on his waist and mourned for his son. Oh, here, I guess it's the verse just before that. 30, here it is. And he recognized it, talking about the coat of many colors. And he recognized it in his son. It is my son's tunic. A wild beast, he jumped to the conclusion. A wild beast has devoured him. Without doubt, Joseph is torn to bits or torn to pieces. So then it continues. Let me move this up. It continues, and it says, Jacob tore his clothes, put sackcloth on his waist, and mourned for his son many days. And all his sons, we know who all his sons are, the 11. But look what it says, and all his daughters arose to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. This is one of those things in Torah that you kind of wonder, how come he's got daughters? This is clearly daughters. There's no doubt about this when you look at the text. It is Benotav. It's daughters, Benotav. So who are the daughters? I speculated that maybe the girls, the 4 girls, Rachel, Leah, Bilhah, Zilpah, maybe they had some other girls and they only talk about Dinah because Dinah was the one that got taken at Shechem. I think that's a weak argument. I have to wonder if by this time the sons have been married or taken women into their lives. And remember, it's no word for marriage. They baal a woman, they master the woman, and they become his or theirs. Bone of their bone, flesh of their flesh. If Jehovah had sons, his Ezra men, those who cut covenant with him by slaughter at Passover. If those sons take women for themselves, they become Jehovah's daughters, bone of their bone, flesh of my flesh. They become, my woman will become me. In a sense, that's really what we're talking about. So does it make sense that if these young men, I don't even want to call them boys because they're past boys, they're in their 20s now. And this is in 37. If these boys have married and had babies, and those babies are starting to grow up, they could have sons and daughters. Could their daughters be Jacob's daughters? I think they could. The same way that we are sons of Abraham. You see how that works? It's multi-generations. So I speculated on that when we did this chapter, I don't know, 5 weeks ago maybe. Well, the very next chapter is talking about Judah. Judah is marrying the daughter of a Canaanite whose name was Shua. We saw that her name was Aliat. She had 3 sons. And in this chapter, the sons got old enough to take a woman to them. We don't know how old they were. 10, 12, 15, 20. But there's some time going by here. Do you understand what I'm saying? Remember, when we read Torah, don't assume that it's chronological. It's not. No, it goes back and forth and back and forth. So we had these 3 boys grow up, well, 2 of them anyway, grew up old enough to take a woman. Tamar was her name, daughter of Shem. Well, daughter of a son of Shem. And failed. He didn't want to have seed. He didn't want to have kids. I don't know why. I think he was the son of a Canaanite woman. Aliyat. Doesn't sound like a great woman. You know, he took a daughter of Canaan for himself. Judah did. But he didn't take a daughter of Canaan for his sons. Do you think maybe he had some misgivings? I wonder. Well, today, so then the very next chapter, look at, this is Joseph in Egypt. Talking about Potiphar's wife. Oh, and it said a bit about her in here. But what we read last week was enormous amount of information about what this woman was like. He got to jail. And she still pursued him. Oh my goodness. Oh my Elohim. Well, today we're going to take yet another hiatus right after we finish talking about Zelicah, our first woman who was pursuing Joseph. He went to jail. She pursued him there. She said, I'm going to blind you. I'm going to put shackles on your feet. But Joseph completely trusted in Yehovah. This is where we left off last time. Now, in 45, and we're going to do this one chapter, and then we're going to go back to Torah, chapter 40 of Genesis, next week. This is chapter 45 of Yasher. It says, and it was at that time in that year. It was at that time in that year, which is the year of Joseph's going down to Egypt, after his brothers had sold him, that Reuben, the son of Yaakov, went to Timnah and took unto him a woman, Eliarim, the daughter of Avi the Canaanite. Now, at that time of year, does that mean that all the sons were taking wives at that time of year? I think we can't jump to that conclusion, because one thing that we saw when the boys sold Joseph into Egypt was they swore an oath of secrecy. We're not going to tell any of our family. And they listed kind of the families that we were talking about. And I kind of assumed that it was maybe all the people who were in Jacob's camp. But I wonder if some of them, had taken wives. And it was those wives and family members, children, whom they had sworn not to tell. I wonder. When we look at these ages, we're going to talk about it. We'll get down to Benjamin. I was just talking with my buddy Mama Bear here about Benjamin. Interesting that she brought that up. So here we are talking about Reuben taking Eliurim. It says, and Eliurim, Reuben's woman, conceived and bore him Hanak, Palu, Chetzron, and Carmi, 4 sons. Notice they're only listing sons. They don't list daughters. Now and then they might say, and their sister. But when they're talking about what she's bearing, we're always talking about sons. Always. This is how it is in Torah too. When it talked about Jacob and his sons, and it was the sons and their sister. Okay, so now we're talking about Simeon. And look at Simeon. This is so interesting. Remember, Simeon and Levi, when Dinah was taken, took it upon themselves, the 2 eldest boys, looking after their little sister, went to Shechem and destroyed the city, killed every man in it. They brought a few people back, prisoners. I think maybe some of these ladies that the boys are going to be marrying. Is that possible? Would that make sense? I mean, we're told many times in Torah. Remember, Abraham told Eliezer, don't take a woman from Canaan. Jacob told, Isaac told Jacob the same thing. Don't take a woman for Canaan. Go to Haran. They were fed up because their son took a woman from Canaan too, actually. And they hated him. My point here is Simeon has a bond with his sister. And remember, after she's been taken and defiled, malunoed, defiled, she's not going to find a mate very easily. She's not a virgin anymore. You know, that's an issue in those days. We have such a loose society in these days that we don't even put a premium on that anymore. So sad. But look at who Simeon took. And Simeon, his brother, talking about Reuben's brother, took his sister, Dinah, for a woman. She bore unto him Menuel, Yamin, Ohad, Okad, Yachin, and Zochar. He afterwards came to Bunah. Look at this. Bunah, a Canaanitish woman. This is my point in talking about the boys who are taking Canaanitish women. Is it possible that they're taking women from their camp? Women that were taken captive from Canaan? Shechem in particular. Although, remember, they did fight with another bunch of cities, but I think they pretty much gave all those people back. But they kept some of the women, some of the boys from Shechem as well. Bunah was the woman in Shechem that was taking care of Dinah. I wonder if she was even the one that brought back word to Jacob what was going on in the city when they were getting ready to come after them later on. I wonder. So we have Bunah, the same Bunah whom Simeon took captive from the city of Shechem. And Bunah was before Dinah and attended to her. Yes, she attended to her. Look at what it says in Torah. I'm going to open this up. This is in Deuteronomy 21. I'd say she was a concubine. Bunah was. And apparently fatherless. Remember, she would have to be fatherless. He killed all the men in Shechem. He got her from Shechem probably after the raid. And look what it says about when we go to war. When you go out to war against your enemies, and Yehovah, your Elohim, delivers them into your hand, and you take them captive, and you see among the captives a beautiful woman, and desire her, and would take her for your woman. Then you shall bring her to your house, bring her home to your house, and you shall shave her head and trim her nails. Oh, I put a good writing about that, shaving your head. An uncovered woman. This is what we're talking about, an uncovered woman. She shall put off her clothes of her captivity. Put off the clothes of her captivity and remain in your house and mourn for her father and her mother a full month. After that, you may go to her and be her husband, and she shall be your wife. And it shall come to be, if you have no delight in her, then you shall set her free. But you certainly shall not sell her for money, nor shall you treat her brutally, because you have humbled her. Is it possible that some of the Canaanite women that the boys are going to take here in this chapter are exactly like Bruna? Women who have come into the camp, kind of learned the ways of Yehovah in the camp, and now the boys are taking these women. Remember, it said Judah went down when he went to, where was that town? He went to Adullam. He went down to see his friend. And it was there that he met Shua, and who had a daughter named Aliat. It was Aliat. I think their hometown was Timnah, incidentally. Who was certainly not from their camp. Is that why Judah went down? Could that be why he descended? I just wonder if these other women came from Shechem. Just a thought. Let me continue. It says, and Simon came to her, and she bare unto him Saul. Now it talks about Judah. Judah went at that time to Adullam. Here we are talking about Adullam. Spell it a little bit differently. You got a double L here. But, that's to be expected. Transliteration in the scriptures is changes all the time, so you got to move with it. And it came to a man of Adullam. His name was Hira. And Judah saw there a daughter of a man of Canaan, and her name was Aliat, the daughter of Shua. So that gives her a name. We didn't have a name when we went through chapter 37 or 38 in Torah. And he took her and came to her. And Aliat bore unto him Unan, Shiloh, 3 sons. And Levi and Issachar went to the land of the east. They took unto themselves women, the daughters of Yovav, son of Yoktan, son of Eber. Interesting. And Yovav, the son of Yoktan, had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Adonah, and the name of the younger was Aradah. Interesting, this is Levi and Issachar. Remember, Levi is he's holding the priestly position in the family. We're going to see when we go to Egypt later on, 22 years from now, no, longer than that, 22, 30, about 30 years from now. 22, about 30 years from now. They're going to go to Egypt. When they're in Egypt, Levi's going to be set apart. Remember, for the first 50 years in Egypt. No, first 100 years in Egypt. we had a pretty good life. It was the second 100 years after Joseph had passed that we were starting to be oppressed by the Egyptians. And it was Levi and his seed that never submitted and worked for the Egyptians. Isn't that interesting? He took a righteous, now I can't say she's a righteous woman. She took a woman, he took, and Issachar took, a woman from a righteous man who raised his daughter well. There's no such thing as a righteous woman. There's righteous men. But these righteous women learn the ways of Yahovah on how a woman is to conduct herself. That's important. So as they went to the land of the east and took themselves women, the daughters of Jobab, the son of Yoktan, the son of Eber. And Jobab, the son of Yoktan, had two daughters. Oh, we did this. And Levi took Adonah, and Issachar took Aradah. And they came to the land of Canaan, to their father's house. And Adonah bore unto Levi, there it is, Gershom, Kohath. They say Kahath, Kahat. Really, it's really probably more what it's saying. Gershom, Kakat, and Merari. You know what? Kakat is going to be the one, we call him Kohath in Torah. Kohath seed, and Kohath seed, this is in Exodus 18 through 20. I think I left out verse 19. It's 18 and 20. But look what it said. Kohath seed. Now this is Kohath seed, the daughter of, or the son of Levi by Aradah. He had firstborn Amram. Amram. Do you know who Amram was? Amram is the father of Moses. And you're going to tell me that we were in Egypt for 430 years? No, you're wrong. Yeah, you might find one verse that gives you that opinion, but it's wrong. If you figure it out, it doesn't work. I figured it out. I know what the sequence of events was and where the 430 years is. Look, at Amram took to himself Jochebed, his father's sister. Who's his father? Kohath. It says, Aradah bore unto Levi Gershom, Kohath, and Merari. 3 sons. And their sister, Jochebed. She was born in Egypt. Oh, so very interesting how all the pieces fit together, isn't it? It's her. Now, Amram took to himself Jochebed, his father's sister, for a woman, and she bore him Aaron and Moses. Again, Miriam's not mentioned, and Miriam, their sister. The years of the life of Amram were 137 years old. Oh, isn't that interesting? That kind of gets us to the point where we need to be. And he took, Amram did, he's the firstborn of Kohath. He took his aunt. So she's older than he is. Aradah bore unto, this is Aradah, this is the other daughter of whatever his name was, I forget. Eber, the son of Eber. Yovab. Bore unto Issachar Tola, Pova, Job, Shamron, 4 sons. Dan went to the land of Moab. Why is Dan going to the land of Moab? And took for a woman, Aflalet. the daughter of Hamadan, the Moabite. And he brought her to the land of Canaan. We're going to have a lot of problems with the Moabites in the future. Okay, remember, Ruth is a Moabite. So, I mean, there's good Moabites. But Ruth was also a widow of one of the sons, as I recall, of Naomi. And he brought her to the land of Canaan. And Aphalat was barren. She had no offspring. And Elohim afterwards remembered Aphalat, Dan's woman, and she conceived and bore a son and called his name Cushim. Gad and Naphtali went to Haran. Isn't that interesting? I like seeing that some of these sons are looking for, dare I say, good women who have not been perverted, although I think Nahor was kind of Abraham's brother, so we kind of know that. I mean, that's where Eliezer went to find a bride for Isaac. Anyway, they went to Haran and took from thence Amram's daughters. He's the son of Uz, the son of Nahor. 4 women. Son of Uz. We see Uz here. And again, transliteration when we're talking about this kind of stuff. Here it is. If I think that's supposed to say I'm. Come on, what's it doing here? It's not working. I don't know why I'm not able to change it right now. I'm going to guess that these had to have been older women. Just my thoughts. Look at why I say this. Now it came to pass after these things that it was told Abraham. Remember, Nahor is Abraham's brother. It was told Abraham, saying, indeed, Milcah has also borne sons to your brother Nahor. Uz, that's Huz, Huz, Huz and Buz is Uz, and Booz, I guess. Uz, his firstborn. Buz, his brother. Kemuel, these are the sons that she bore unto him. And Bethuel. Bethuel, remember, is the one who begat Rebekah. So here's the sons of the sons of Huz. No, how do I do that? Nahor bore Huz and Bethuel and the other boys that are mentioned here. Huz is the one who's going to bear Amram, and his daughters are going to be the wives of the boys that we're talking about right now, Gad and Naphtali. But I'm trying to get this into a timeline, so I got a feeling about this. Here's Bethuel. He's one of the sons. He's the youngest of Nahor's sons. He is going to have Rachel. And remember, it's Rachel at 10 who's going to come down to marry Jacob at 40 in Canaan. I wonder, did Uz take 2 wives? Could he have taken 2 wives? That would make him a little bit younger if he had some other wives in a younger age. That would be one way of doing it. Could these ladies be Rebecca's age? Could they be Rebecca's age? Think about it. Rebecca, how old is Rebecca right now? She must be close to 100. You got to kind of figure out how it all fits together. It's a puzzle. It's a wonderful puzzle to put together when we start to just search the scriptures and see what we can find out. And these are the names of the daughters of Amram. The name of the elder was Merimah, and the name of the younger was Uzith. Naphtali took Merimah, and Gad took Uzith, and brought them to the land of Canaan, to their father's house. Merimah bore to Naphtali Yakziel, Guni, Yasher, and Shalem, 4 sons. Uzis bore Gad, Zephion, Kagi, Shuni, Esban, Eri, Arodi, and Erali. 7 sons. Again, did these ladies or these people have daughters? Do they only have sons, or are only sons mentioned? This is what we always have to think about. And Asher went forth and took Adon, the daughter of Aflah, the son of Hadad, the son of Ishmael, for a woman. And he brought her to the land of Canaan. So here's another righteous woman. This is the son of Ishmael. Remember, Ishmael's the son of Abraham. Potential women of worth. Maybe that's a better way of saying it than righteous women, women of worth. Are they looking on purpose to find good women? I hope so. Don't think Judah did that. He went down. And Asher went and took Adon, a daughter of Aflah, the son of Hadad, the son of Ishmael, for a woman. He brought her to the land of Canaan. And Adon, Asher's woman, died in those days. She had no offspring. And it was after the death of Adon that Asher went to the other side of the river. Remember, he got her from Ishmael. He went to the other side of the river and took a wife, Hadurah, the daughter of Avimaal, the son of Eber, the son of Shem. Another good woman. This woman obviously was young. Look what it says. And the young woman was comely in appearance, a woman of sense. She had been Malkiel's woman. She's a widow. The son of Elam, the son of Shem. Remember, Eber's not a direct son of Shem. He's a little bit further on in the line, but he's still a son of Shem, if you will, son of Abraham. We got to remember how it fits together. And the young woman was comely appearance, a woman of sense, and she had been the wife of Malkiel, the son of Elam, the son of Shem. Hadorah had a daughter, had bare a daughter to Malkiel, and he called her name Sarah. Oh, Sarah is going to be one of the women who is mentioned in Genesis 46 when we list the 70 who are going to be going with Jacob to Egypt. And actually, I'm not even sure they count the ladies. I think they count the men. We'll have to take a look at that when we get to 46. It says the sons of Asher. Remember, talking about Asher right now. The sons of Asher. Where is she? Asher. There he is right there. Verse 12. The sons of Asher were Jimnah, Ishui, Beriah, and Sarah. Look at that. And Sarah, their sister. Sarah, their sister. Again, they do it separately. She's not counted with the boys. And Malkiel died after this. And Hadorah went to remain in her father's house. This is what happens. You know what? In Torah, women always have a covering. I mean, unless they've been kicked out of their house, whores, they have coverings. When a woman dies, when a man dies, her covering, she goes back to her father's house. This is what's happening with this woman, this good woman, this woman of worth. And after the death of Asher's woman, one we were just talking about, he went and took Hadorah for a woman and brought her to the land of Canaan. And Sarah, her daughter, he also brought with him. And she was 3 years old, young woman, young girl. The damsel, she was 3 years old, and the damsel was brought up to Jacob's house. The damsel, like her mom, comely appearance, she went in the sanctified ways of Jacob's seed. She lacked nothing, and Jehovah gave her wisdom and understanding. I wonder if we're going to see Sirach play a role in the future. I don't think so in Torah, but maybe in Yasher. It's interesting that they would mention her. And Hadorah, Asher's woman, conceived and bore unto him, this is the boys we just talked about, 1, 2, 3, 4 sons. Zebulun went to Midian. Midian, remember Midian is a son of Keturah, son of Abraham, and took a wife, Marisha, the daughter of Malad, the son of Avidah, the son of Midian, and brought her to the land of Canaan. Here, this is the sons. I wanted to point out Midan and Midian, because I think we're going to talk about Midan here in just the future here. Let's take a look. So Marusha bore to Zebulun, Zered, Elan, and Yakliel, 3 sons. And Jacob sent to Aram, the son of Zobah. This is Jacob. Jacob is sending to Aram, the son of Zobah, son of Terah. Remember, this is back in Haran. No, son of Terah. Terah, was there a Terah? I don't think there was a Terah in Nahor's line. Not sure where this Terah came from. But this is where he got her. And this is Jacob doing this. It says, and Jacob sent to Aram, and the son of Zobah, the son of Terah, and he took for his son Benjamin, Mechaliah, the daughter of Aram. And she came to the land of Canaan, to the house of Jacob. And Benjamin was 10 years old when he took Machilal, the daughter of Aram, for a wife. Now, Ben is 10. Ben is 8 years younger than, maybe 9 years, I think 8 years, younger than Joseph. So if he's 10, Joseph is 18. Joseph is in Potiphar's house right now when Benjamin is taking a wife. And they basically said in the same year. So I guess maybe that's close. I'm talking to the beginning of this chapter. It said in the same year. That'd be close. He's taking his first wife. Machaliah conceived and bore Benjamin, Bela, Becher, Betcher, Ashbel, Gera, Naamah, 5 sons. And Benjamin went afterwards and took for a woman Arabat, the daughter of Shamron, the son of Abraham. Shamron, the son of Abraham. Who is that? It must be a grandson of Abraham that we're really not sure of. I put he must be one of Abraham as a grandfather, as a grandfather is like Abraham is to Noah. Yeah, that's all I can think. But again, we're talking about something that is coming from Abraham's line. A good woman. The daughter of Shamron, the son of Abraham, in addition to his first woman. And he had 18, and he was 18 years old. So if he's 18, Joseph is 26, he's still in prison. He's going to be in prison for another 4 years. And Arabat bore unto Benjamin Aki, Vash, Mubim, Kupim, Ord, 5 sons. And in those days, look at this, in those days, are we still talking about the first year when we're talking about going down? Time is jumping around a lot. And in those days, Judah went to the house of Shem and took Tamar, the daughter of Elam, the son of Shem, for a woman, for his firstborn Ur. So here is, maybe he's young, must be young, 12, 10, like Benjamin. We just had Joseph getting something for his youngest, Benjamin. Now we got Judah getting somebody for his eldest, Ur. Tamar, the daughter of Elam, good woman. I think he learned his lesson. Too bad his sons were not good men. The son of Shem, for a wife for his firstborn Ur. Ur came to his woman, Tamar, and she became his woman. When he came to her, he outwardly destroyed his seed. He pulled out and let it fall on the ground. His work was evil in the sight of Yehovah. We're supposed to be fruitful and multiply. He didn't. And Yehovah slew him. Again, daughter of a Canaanite. You know, a lot of the Canaanite kids, especially firstborn, were killed. But I think there was more here. He was... Well, that doesn't make sense. I was going to say he's the firstborn. He's going to get the birthright. He's going to get double what his other 2 brothers are going to get. So his son would have gotten that also. So that wouldn't be, he just didn't want kids, I guess. Yahweh slew it. And it was after the death of Ur, Judah's firstborn, that Judah said to Onan, go to thy brother's woman and marry her as the next of kin and raise up seed for thy brother. Oh, isn't this interesting? This is Torah before Torah's even been written. But it's written, they've been learning it generation by generation, passing it down since Adam. This is what Yehovah says in Torah, Deuteronomy. If brothers dwell together, did they dwell together? Yes. And one of them dies and has no son. Yeah, that sounds like Tamar. The widow of the dead man shall not be married to a stranger outside the family. No, they have a commitment to her. Her husband's brother shall go into her, take her for his woman, and perform the duty of a husband's brother to her. He's going to marry her. This is not about just having sex and getting a kid. No, he's taking her. But the firstborn son that he gets is going to go to his brother. So that means the baby is going to get the birthright, not him. Unless there is no baby, then he becomes the firstborn son. You see what's going on here? I think there's motivation for him not to have a firstborn son. So, perform the duty of a husband's brother to her. And it shall be that the firstborn son which she bears shall succeed to the name of the dead brother, that his name shall not be blotted out of Israel. But if a man does not want to take his brother's woman, then let his brother's woman go to the gates of the elders and say, my husband's brother refuses to raise up a name to his brother in Israel. He will not perform the duty of a husband's brother. We're going to talk about that. Or maybe we did talk about that. We'll see what we have. Then the elders of the city shall call him and speak to him. But if he stands firm and says, I do not want to take her, then his brother's woman shall take to him in the presence of the elders, shall come to him in the presence of the elders, remove his sandal from his foot, spit in his face, and answer and say, so shall it be done to the man who will not build his brother's house. And his name shall be called in Israel, the house of him who had a sandal removed. This is something that he's going to have to live with the rest of his life. He should have done it. He didn't do it. He didn't have to do it. But now he's got to live with the shadow over his head. The purpose of this is to assure that inherited property remains in the family. This is what it's all about. The firstborn was supposed to be the one who got double the property. Remains in the family, especially within a larger family in Israel, and to provide for the well-being of the widow in her old age. This arrangement is for inheritance and welfare and security. This is why they do this, because the woman is a widow. Got to take care of your widows. This is how you do it. You give her a son so her son can take care of her in her old age. But he didn't. Why didn't he? Again, I think he wanted the birthright. He wanted the stuff. Judah said, go in and marry your brother's woman and marry her as a next of kin and raise up seed for thy brother, to thy brother. And Onan took Tamar for a woman, and came to her, and Onan also did like unto the work of his brother, and his work was evil in the sight of Jehovah, and he slew him also. Then Onan died, and when Onan died, Judah said to Tamar, remain in thy father's house until my son Shiloh shall have grown up. It makes sense that he is a younger boy. He had 3 sons. The one was eldest. Then the next one was done. So we're at least 3 years apart. And he's sending her back to her father's house. He doesn't want to take responsibility for her. Could he keep her in his house? No, probably not, unless he gives her Shiloh. So he sent her back home. Again, a woman has to have a covering. She's going back home to dad. Her original covering. Remain in thy father's house until my son Shiloh shall have grown up. And Judah did no more delight in Tamar. Here's a good woman. It's not her. In fact, I think I said it. I think that Judah's sons were actually the problem, not Tamar. Yeah. To give her unto Shiloh, for he said, peradventure, he will also die like his brothers. Now, I don't think it was her. Tamar rose up, went and remained in her father's house. And Tamar was in her father's house for some time. At the revolution of the year, Aliyat, the Canaanite woman that Judah went down to take, died. And Judah was comforted was comforted for his wife. And after the death of Eliat, Judah went up to his friend Hira to Timnah to shear the sheep. Remember, I just showed you where Timnah was. Remember, we had Adullam, and then further on was Timnah. Here, I can show it to you again real quick. I want you to see. Here they are. They're in Hebron. He went to Adullam, and then he went to here to tend the sheep. So there must be a path between here and here. And this is where Tamar is going to hang out, waiting for Judah. Tamar heard that Judah had gone to Timnah to shear the sheep, and that Shiloh was grown up, and Judah did not delight in her. No, he didn't give her Shiloh like he promised. Tamar rose up and put off the garments of her widowhood, and she put a veil upon her, and she entirely covered herself. She doesn't want people to know who she is. And she went and sat in a public thoroughfare, which is upon the road to Timnah. And Judah passed and saw her and took her. Oh, he's taken what he thinks is a harlot, a whore. Here. But if this thing is true and the evidence of her virginity are not found in the young woman, they shall bring her, I guess maybe this is a little further on. They shall bring out the young woman to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her to death with stones, because she has done a disgraceful thing in Israel to play the harlot in her father's house. As I recall, this was about a priest's daughter. If you looked at it up a little further. So you shall put away the evil from among you. Do not prostitute your daughters, nor cause her to be a harlot, lest the land fall into harlotry and the land become full of wickedness. The daughter of a priest. Oh, here's the one about the priest. The daughter of a priest, if she profanes herself by playing the harlot, she profanes her father. She shall be burned with fire. Remember, Judah wanted to burn her. There shall be no harlots of the daughters of Israel, or homosexuals of the sons of Israel. You shall not bring the wages of a harlot, or the price of a dog, the price of taking a homosexual, to the house of Jehovah, your Elohim, for any vowed offering, for both of these are abominations to Jehovah, your Elohim. She entirely covered herself. And she went and sat in a public thoroughfare, which is upon the road to Timnah. And Judah passed and saw her and took her and came to her, and she conceived by him. At the time of being delivered, behold, there were twins. He had twins. And in her womb, and she called the names of the first Perez, and the name of the second Zerah. Well, we're going to stop here. I think it's interesting that they went from the eldest son to the youngest son, Benjamin, and then we had Judah taking a son for his youngest, and then we got down to even another generation of men with Perez and Zerah. This is, in a sense, telling us who actually is going to be going to Egypt years from now. Well, we're going to stop here. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you again next time. We're going to talk about, what are we going to talk about? We're going to go to 40. Here it is. We're going to talk about Joseph in jail and what's happening during those 12 years that he's going to be in jail. Hey, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.